Is it all out now?
Almost.
No, it's all out. Look. Betsy, it's all out. All of it came out. Why, so that's how it comes out.
Yep. We have had a lot of fun watching butterflies and caterpillars and moths and all the process of metamorphosis. And so I want to share it with you today, so maybe you can do the same with your children.
My name is Melinda. I am a happy wife and mom of 4. Thank you for joining me today as I share the things that I have learned with other busy young moms like myself.
Today I'm out on a walk with my children, letting them play around in the field. We're sitting in a coffee field. And I decided that maybe I could take the opportunity to share with you all a bit about how we raise caterpillars to butterflies. When I was younger, we sometimes did this. Especially with the monarch butterfly, when I lived in Canada, we'd get the eggs and watch them, when they're very small caterpillars, and get the milkweed and watch them grow into big caterpillars and then turn into chrysalises and then into butterflies. And then we let them go. And I started doing that with my girls about a year or 2 ago, and so I thought it'd be fun to share with you. We've had so much fun. We've learned about different butterflies. It's fun to see them not even quite school age or not even quite first grade age, that they understand so much about the butterfly metamorphosis process, or about moths, or about ladybugs and praying mantises and all those things. And so, yeah. For caterpillars, what we've done is when you find a caterpillar or some kind, worm, check what its host leaf is. On whatever plant it is usually their host leaf. So my girls now, they often find caterpillars and they run and bring them to me. We have some jars set aside for that purpose, or we also bought a plastic terrarium. You can find, in the article that's linked below, you can find some links to Amazon to some terrariums that are similar if you should like to do that. And those are what we use for our caterpillars. When they find a caterpillar, they bring it to me along with the leaves. They identify which plant it is that they're on and bring me some leaves. And then every day we feed the caterpillars. We just give them fresh leaves. Sometimes we take out the old ones, depending the case, and we give them fresh ones. Usually they will grow and grow and grow and eat and eat and eat. And after a while, one day you'll see them sitting still somewhere. Or maybe they'll have switched into a cocoon. That's a part of the process we've never been able to watch, because I've wanted to watch when they switch, but I've seen them getting ready to form a chrysalis or a cocoon or whatever. But then it happens so fast that I don't see it happening. And so they form the chrysalis or the cocoon, and then it stays there for sometimes it's just like a week. Some kinds take a couple of weeks or even months. And eventually one day, if it's a chrysalis, the difference between chrysalis and cocoon, the way I understand, is a chrysalis forms into a butterfly, and a cocoon is usually from the fuzzy caterpillars or fuzzier and forms a moth. But I'm not sure if it's always like that or if that's totally right. If it's from the fuzzy hairy caterpillars, then you won't be able to see much of a difference. But if it's from the cocoons, then after a few days they'll usually start changing color. We've had like some green ones that get kind of black because the worm is black. And then eventually one day the butterfly comes out. As you can see in this video here, that's what happened.
Mommy, when you talk about butterfly, I see a butterfly.
Uh-huh. We haven't always watched that happen, but we have occasionally, and it's so much fun. Butterflies usually hang there for a while, dry their wings, spread them out, stretch them out, and then we go and take them outside. We let them go on a plant somewhere so they can fly away. We sometimes take pictures with them. We hold them on our fingers. Just one thing to teach your children with butterflies: if you want them to be nice and to survive and be free, don't touch their wings. Then that makes the little hairs or feathers or whatever it's called they have on them come off, and then it doesn't work as well. But then we let them go, and it's so much fun. And sometimes the butterfly has fallen down when it's hatching or something, like coming out, and it hasn't worked, but then we just do our best, let them go and on a plant with flowers or something and hope they survive, and we leave them there. I don't know the names of most of the butterflies that we have done this to. I don't have the time to look in butterfly name books and so on, and someday I'll let my girls do it, but for now we just enjoy the process. When I see most of the common caterpillars around the house now, we see them and we know which kind of butterfly will come out of them and all that kind of stuff. So it's so much fun. It's a good way to teach children to observe nature. We have also gotten to see, one time we saw a butterfly flying around a bush, and it every once in a while light down, a little bit, and fly off and to another leaf and light down. And we went and checked, and wherever it sat down a little bit, it had dropped a little egg. And that was so neat to see. And we knew which kind of butterfly it was, so we knew. We haven't had much success bringing butterfly eggs in because they're the teensy tiniest things. And somehow, I don't know, I guess they were made to be free. Or most of them probably die anyway, and we just get them once they're a bit bigger. Because we have brought eggs, some kind of insect eggs or butterfly eggs into the house. And we've even watched them, the tiny little cocoons, or tiny little worms, coming out of the top of the eggs. Like, it's really tiny. But then we haven't, they haven't survived. So what we usually try to do is just find them when they're a bit bigger. But you might have success with from little on, I don't know. Things don't always go well with the process. One time we found a big green caterpillar. It was big, like, I don't know, really interesting. Oh well, here's some pictures for you. Anyway, I was really looking forward to what kind of butterfly that caterpillar would become, because it looks so interesting, as you can see. It looks scary and all. I imagine it was some beautiful kind. But a few days later we had it in it was a bigger one, so we had it in a bigger box. And a few days later it was covered with a bunch of little bumps. Well, like you can see here. And those little bumps, I think it was a closed cage. I don't know. I've heard say that like sometimes bees or something or different insects lay eggs on caterpillars, and then those caterpillars become the host, and the larva of the next insect kills them off. But I don't know how those bumps got on there, because I think the cage was closed and it would look fine when we put it in there. So anyway, I don't know. But anyway, that thing died, and we never got to see what kind of butterfly, and we haven't found another similar caterpillar since. Too bad. And other times we knew there was a beautiful kind of butterfly. It was black with like yellow dots on the wings and different colors. And we had the cocoons already, but they weren't hatching like they should. And then one day we saw out of the chrysalis it is. Okay, later I'll check on it. Eggs of what?
Caterpillar, but white, you white.
Oh, bring them to me then, because then I can...
Oh.
On a branch. Okay, well, then I'll come look at them later.
On the big tall tree.
Remind me to take a picture of them later.
Okay.
That's a fun thing about learning about nature. So those were what the girls found. They look interesting. They look like some kind of egg of some kind of creature, but I wouldn't really know. Guess we'll have to come back and check up sometime. So anyway, the maggots. I was back to that story. There were maggots coming out of they were like worms, and I later figured out it was fly maggots coming out of the cocoons, and they had destroyed them. They eat them out. So there, I studied up a bit, and it supposedly is that the flies lay eggs on the caterpillars or on the chrysalises, and then they grow in there and destroy it, and it can't change into a butterfly. So that was kind of sad. but we at least learned that, and some of them we actually saw the flies later. We left them in a sealed container, and we made sure we got rid of them, and we watched one after a few weeks. Those maggots turn into hard little capsules, and then they became flies. So anyway, observe. I don't even know how to explain all that we saw, but it was interesting. And it can be for you too, and you can learn, and you can study, and you can learn more than what I know. I hope my girls someday do deeper studies, but as a busy mom, that's just not my highest focus right now. I'm teaching them to learn and to grow. You can observe other things too, like this time that one of my girls found some interesting little things on a tree, and she brought them home. There you can see. And then we watched them hatch, or we watched them come out. I'm not even sure if I'm using the right scientific names for everything. Just, I'm a mom that's learning and trying to teach my children to learn, and we're learning from real life, and it's fun. And here I'm trying to talk while my baby's trying to chew on everything he can. So it was ladybugs, and we went online and studied a bit about the life cycle of ladybugs. I probably studied it in my younger years, but didn't remember. And now to have a clearer idea how ladybugs form, that was interesting. So I encourage you to take time with your children to observe nature. They'll learn a lot more than what they might from school books, where it will stick better. And best of all, then when they have the problems in their science, let's say about the butterfly life cycle, they'll know it from memory. And that's what I'm trying to do with my children. Teach them from nature and from observing. So I hope you can take your children out and learn. If you don't have these same creatures around, then maybe you have other things that you can observe, how they grow. Birds' nests, whatever. We've watched birds' nests several times on our walks. We find a bird nest with eggs, so we come back and every once in a while peek in, and then we've seen the baby birds, we've seen them get bigger. We've seen them take flight, and it's all so much fun, and they learn so much, and we learn too. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.